The Sephora Savings Event is here.
World in my hand, I'll take this and that.
And that. Ooh, and this. Oh, it's true. Find everything you want on sale at the Sephora Savings Event. It only happens twice a year, and it's on now through November 11th. Find brands like Rare Beauty, Glow Recipe, Valentino, K18, and more, all for less. Shop at Sephora and Sephora at Kohl's today. Limitations apply. Must be a beauty insider. See terms at Sephora.com for complete details.
Hi, we're Companion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, come on.
And
it's a good place to start.
Yeah, and it was one of those. It was one of those moments that.
Original idea, right?
Yeah, very. I was standing there, and people were cool about it. You know, they probably went home and gossiped about me and sinned a lot. But
takes a while. Takes a while.
They
A lot of sin.
go home after church on Sunday, have Sunday dinner.
You go to the message, just gossip about Tony all the time.
But this is one of those times where I almost lost it. There was a group of about 3 or 4 people standing there, and we were talking about my podcast I had just started, and they were talking about Bigfoot. And I think I talked about this yesterday with somebody. I forget. We might say it on the stage. I don't remember. But I would say.
All right, welcome back to Blurry Creatures. We got a special members-only episode for you guys this week. We did our first conference last year, and we got our second conference coming up in a couple months on Halloween this year. But we thought it'd be cool to give our members a little taste of what it was like to be at Blurry Con.
Blurry Con 1, the
original,
the maiden voyage. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you guys showed up in just full juice. We came out, and you guys gave us just one heck of a day. It was an all-day event. We had a lot of fun. Tim Alberino was there. Laura Sanger was there. Doug Van Dorn was there. Tony Merkel and Derek Olson. We just back-to-back pods. We were slammed all day long. And Luke was looking at me like, this is crazy. Bigfoot even showed up. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah, we were throwing juice boxes. We had games and food trucks. It was quite the Blurry event. So we're very excited that we have our second edition of Blurry Con coming up here. 2-day event at the end of October, first day of November here in Franklin, Tennessee. And we thought we'd give people a taste, right? This event sold out. It's been sold out since the day we released tickets. It took 2 hours to sell out the 2-day event. So this is a very exclusive, and it's been a very, very fun event, and it sells to our members. And so, today's episode, Nate, is a members-only episode. This is one of the perks that you get is these extra exclusive episodes. But one of the other perks, as I just said, is you get first crack at tickets. So when we do things like Blurry Con, and we'll be doing this again next year, God willing, and our Exblursions, Nate.
Expeditions that are blurry.
Expeditions that are blurry, yeah. Went to Costa Rica last year with Tim. We did a trip to Peru with Sam Alberino as well, and looked at the megaliths. These things are all going to rotate back into rotation at some point. So there'll be these blurry trips, and they sell to our members. So in addition to that, you get things like exclusive channels, Facebook, Telegram, and Discord, like extra episodes like the one you're about to listen to, and discounts on merch. And then we do monthly members chats and movie nights for our gold members. And we got a lot of things actually cooking as well. So this is going to be...
And we got one coming up next Monday.
That's right.
July 29th, if you want to come to our members chat, 7 p.m., and then a gold members movie night afterwards. And we're about to move into our studio soon, which we're going to have more members-only video content for members of the show. So if you're a gold member, hold on. We're coming for you. We're about to move into our studio. It's gonna be fun. We got a lot. We got so much going on, cooking in the Blurryverse. I know it's summertime. Everyone's on vacation, doing their thing, and forgets what's going on with the Blurry world. What's going on in the Blurryverse? Oh, don't worry. We're already prepping for Blurry Con 2. We're already putting together video assets, and we got a bunch of ideas. It's gonna be a fun time. So we try to make it worth your while. And we also are excited to announce that you want to come to Blurry Con digitally? We've got the live streaming ticket available.
That's right. We're releasing the live streaming tickets, so you can come virtually. It is a sold out event, so if you'd like to join us from your couch, throw a Blurry party, you can join in all the festivities. You can dress up in your 80s gear, and you can be a part of all of the pageantry and all the fun at Blurry Con, all the 80s nostalgia, and all of the things that we do from the comfort of your own home, or you can tailgate it like our friend Mike Weaver did. Mike Weaver got a Big Daddy was on tour, and he got the digital pass last year, and him and his boys in the band watched the event live, and they tailgated it, which they are the first and only folks to have tailgated a Blurry event, which I love.
But we have a lot of people coming this year. We've got Dr. Laura Sanger, Tim Alberino. We've got Ali Siadatin, Joel Muddamale. Who else we got?
Well, we got Doug Van Dorn, Dr. Judd Burton. We've got Kevin Tom, who's King Cat.
Yeah.
As well as, I believe we have some special guests that we're not going to completely announce, but some friends of the show are going to be there as well.
Yeah. This isn't like your typical conference. If you used to go any conferences, we try to go above and beyond with this conference, producing all kinds of materials, and then buying a ticket helps us just to take this to the next level, go 88 miles per hour. We've got a lot of people coming. Bigfoot's coming again this year, and the real Bigfoot's coming this year.
That's right.
So
the real one.
Him.
He'll be less elusive for 2 days of the year.
But I appreciate you guys so much for supporting this podcast enough to where Luke and I can actually do a conference like this and invite our friends and have a 2-day party. And those who got the VIP tickets, we have something special planned for you guys as well. So lots of stuff going on. Just go to our website, blurrycreatures.com, and you can click the banner to find a link to get tickets, and we will put you on the list, and you will get emailed that day. And if you want to become a member of this show and listen to this episode and more, go to blurrycreatures.com/members, and lots of good stuff for you guys. Thank you so much for supporting the show and helping us do this.
This is one of the sessions from the original and first Blurry Con with our friend Tony Merkel of the Confessionals. Tony is one of the best guys in this space. He's got a huge show. If you haven't checked out the Confessionals, you absolutely should. And Tony joined us last year to talk about all of the weird and unexplained phenomena that he comes across and the things that are really burning for him as he is into his show in the paranormal space. And so grateful for friends like Tony Merkel, and he's got a fantastic show. So check out his show and follow what he does as well and support the Confessionals. But this is a taste of what you might get to experience in person or digitally live if you get the digital pass to join us virtually.
Oh no, here we go again. What's happening? Is that Dogman? I hear him.
Is that Dogman?
He's definitely howling. Something's happening. What? I don't know why they're on. Oh my. Tony's here.
Tony Merkel. Give it up.
Everybody?
Hey, did you see your big head? Hey, Bigfoot.
Oh, jeez. There's a story behind that.
Well, let's hear it.
All right,
This is
welcome
story
everyone.
time.
Tony Merkel from the Confessionals podcast. Thanks for coming to Blurry Con.
Yep, absolutely.
Tennessee native.
Tennessee Tony now.
Tennessee Tony, Philly Tony's dead.
Philly Tony's dead.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
The new one.
Yes, sir.
New and improved.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey.
Jinx.
Uh,
Yeah,
you drank all the
Pepsi free.
You drank it all.
Right, yeah.
Way to go. Dude, welcome to the
Blurry
basement.
Con.
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride seeing you guys soar to the top. I love it.
Oh, dude.
We're grateful to have you. I mean, if you guys know Tony from his podcast Confessionals, it's amazingly successful and just fascinating podcast. And Tony's been a great friend to us. Just in, our podcasts sort of I feel like some interesting rhythms. We're definitely uniquely different, but you being a Christian in the paranormal space, and there's a lot of people in this room that, Nate, we talk about this all the time, that what we just tried to do was find a space for to talk about the paranormal in a biblical paradigm, and because this church does a great job of it, by the way. Conduit is awesome, but there's a lot of churches that don't want to.
Yeah.
They don't want to discuss that. And so we're grateful for your work, for your friendship, and for you being in Tennessee now. But we're here to talk about
Portals.
Oh, okay. So I heard.
Yeah.
Well, Derek kind of teased us right there.
Yeah, you sure did. Yeah.
No, he's talking portals. I was getting excited.
We're gonna steal your thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah, modern day portals, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's modern day as much as modern day is starting to recognize the weird stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, let's take us back because we did a show with you. We came to your studio in East Tennessee, and one of the things I thought was interesting is when we were just talking, catching up, is that you said that at this point in your show and where you're at, like you are completely interested in chasing after the stories about portals. That's where you're at, and we talked about it last night. If you were at VIP, Tony talked a bit about, in roundabout terms, about some of the things that you're working on, but it all connects to that. So first off, why has that become such a big topic for you, and how did you get there?
Well, it's really, I mean, anybody who listens to the show knows that I interview people. It's more like a conversation, and we talk about their bizarre experiences.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that led into it, but it just seems like, so throughout the process of the show, it's been really kind of like God laying down the path, and I just kind of walk along it. Yeah. I don't know what I'm getting into half the time. And it was about a year and a half ago, I sat down to do an interview with a guy, and I really expected it to be about a 20-minute interview, because the email was real short. It was just one little story. But I was like, all right, let's do it, Yeah. And before we started, he said to me that he wanted to share with me another story, but he didn't tell me in the email because he thought I would think he's crazy. And I was like, man, you came to the right show for crazy. Like this is...
You haven't been listening, have you?
I was like, man, I love crazy. Yeah. This is great. So he went into this long story, and we can get into it if you want then, but he went into a long story about his friend that he was friends with. He didn't know anything was weird about his friend or off until one night his friend basically showed him some supernatural abilities he was able to do physically. And it turned into this whole story where he saw his friend do something that shouldn't be possible.
Well, let's tell, if you haven't listened to the episode, let's tell a story.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to.
I haven't heard it, so I want to hear the story.
Oh, you haven't?
No,
okay.
no.
So, all right. How much time do we have left? Okay, good.
Yeah.
So, I sat down with this guy, Wyatt, and he tells me the story about how he never experienced anything paranormal until he went on a vacation for a weekend with his friend to somewhere in Michigan. They're about to go in the Marines. And he woke up and he saw this like shadow entity hovering over his friend. And he yelled, and everybody wakes up, and he just kind of brushes it off. And that was his first experience. And then fast forward to years later, he is outside in his driveway, probably about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And him and his friend saw I'm going to call his friend Ron, saw a light in the sky. And it was like a UFO, And they're watching it. And it seemed like it was about a 5-minute drive away. And they decided, let's go see if we can catch up to that thing. And I would say that's very much my style. And they start driving, and they drive for about 45 minutes. And this thing is keeping a very equal distance for them. Huh. And they get out of the car next to a cornfield. And he said when he got out of the car, he heard something growling. And he said it sounded really scary. He got back in his car, and they kept on driving. Now, he's in his bare feet. They weren't planning on being out very long. They wound up driving an hour. They get out again. They look at this light in the sky, and that's when his friend's tune changed. His friend is a very laid-back, relaxed kind of guy, and all of a sudden he yells at him, and Ron says, "Get back in the car right now." And he's like, "All right, bro." He gets in the car, and he just... They start flying back to town, and his friend the whole time is saying, "I'm sorry I got you involved in this. I'm sorry. And he's like, "What are you talking about? Like, we were just chasing a light in the sky." Mm-hmm. And Ron goes on to tell him this story of how when he was 13 years old, he was having, I guess, a lucid dream. And he was walking through a cave system, and it opened up into a very big room, like a cave room.
I've got a lot of grandbabies, like a lot. And when it comes to finding a gift for each of them, you know, it could add up. But this year, while I was making my way through Walmart, I realized I don't have to spend a lot to get the gifts they'll love.
An OPI mini mani set! I'm gonna do so much nail art. Oh yeah! A Lego set! My own Walla water bottle!
Ooh, and that's just half of them.
Shop great gifts they're sure to love for $25 and under at Walmart.
Start your electric journey right here, right now. With a Volvo XC90 Recharge, our plug-in hybrid SUV with extended range. For more everyday electric journeys on a single charge, with a hybrid option for longer adventures. Contact your local retailer to book a test drive or design your own vehicle at volvocars.com/US. The Volvo XC90 Recharge Plug-in Hybrid, the electric car with a backup plan.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
And he said there was a man dressed in black recruiting him there to work for him. And when I heard this, immediately, like the Rolodex in my head started going. I'm like, I heard this before. I just never had any context, you know? So I'm like, okay, at this point in the story, I'm thinking, okay, this is another experience with somebody that has a man dressed in black recruiting them to work for him.
Yeah.
And he accepted. I had never talked to anybody who accepted this offer.
Said yes? Like, yeah, man, sign me up.
And Ron's like, I'm down, let's go. And granted, he was like 12 or 13 when this happened. And I've talked to several people who were children when this happened to them, which I don't think is an accident.
Yeah.
But it started this process in his life where he first started doing lucid dreaming, and he would go to this other realm and have a very active life there. And he started working with other entities there, and then he started teaching his friends how to do it. And the guy who's telling me the story, Wyatt, he's like a third party. He has nothing to do with this. He's never done this. He's just seen his friend. Let me get back to the story. So they fly back to town, and Wyatt's just like in disbelief. He's like, this is crazy. My friend's crazy. I don't have a friend now. You know, all that. And so Ron gives Wyatt his phone, and he said, call Katie, which is his girlfriend. And he said, just ask her if it's true. And so they call, and he just says, is it true? And she said, if you're asking me if it's true, it means he told you, and yes, it's true. And so they get back to the house, and Ron jumps out of the car, and this is the first time he saw Ron do something that just shouldn't be possible. He said Ron ran down the street like it was Captain America. He said that he ran inhumanly fast. And this is not in a dream. This is really here in this state. And when he ran down the road, went around the corner, he said he heard a lot of guttural sounds, like something was being killed. And when Ron came walking back, he was covered in a black tarry substance. And that's wild, bro. Weird. And this is a wild story that when I was hearing, I'm sitting in my studio, and I'm like, this is a good story. But, you know? And it just kept on going, though, and the more he revealed to me, the more detail there was and things that I could check out. So he comes back, that whole thing happens, he's freaked out, he's like, his paradigm is being shifted in the moment. And so every time he sees Ron, he's like, asking him questions, hey, what about this, what about that, can you fly? Like, where's your cape? And Ron got tired of it. He's just like, I'm tired of talking about this. And so this is where the story kind of shifted for me. Ron gave Wyatt a book, and he said, read this book. It's about me. The author wrote it about me. And then I'm on Zoom, and Wyatt holds the book up, And he shows me. I see the title of the book, I see the author, and so I'm already thinking, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So he continues the story, and there's a lot of twists and turns in this story. He talks about how, and I have the book actually now in my house. In the book, there's tons of detail. I mean, I'm talking about the book is probably about 2 inches thick. It's a huge book. And Ron talks about a lot of different things in this other world. He talks about the entities he's working with. In fact, he was involved. There's some kind of war going on, he says. Now, I don't know, when Ron tells these details, I don't know if all the details are accurate or if it's from his perspective, right? But he said that he was actively involved in a war. And when he would go to this other lucid dream state to go do this, he said, if he went through 5 years there, it could be a night here. And so the time difference is he could accomplish a lot in this other realm. Mm. But one thing that he says in the book, he says a lot of things in the book that I'm just like, because I know how old Ron is, and we're about the same age. So when this all was going on, I know how old he was. I'm like, there's no way a kid that age should know as much as this guy knew. Mm. But he talks about being in this other realm, and he brings up the Nephilim. And he said that he worked with and was operated on by Nephilim and angels. And when he said angels to me, I'm like, I don't know why, and I don't know what he's thinking, but when you say Nephilim and angels in the same sense to me, working together, I'm like, oh, that's not good angels.
Yeah.
That's not good.
It's the baddies.
And I found out later that it is the baddies. Mm-hmm. So he goes through these different experiences.
Once again, this is a members-only episode. If you want to get access to this episode and many more here on Blurry Creatures and help us produce this podcast, blurrycreatures.com/members. And also on the website, you can grab tickets to Blurry Con digital stream. Thank you guys so much for supporting this podcast, helping us make this show. Again, it's just Luke and I doing all this. And without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. See you out there, blurrycreatures.com. Thank you guys.